Now look at the hyperbola. I'm not going to derive it like I did the ellipse, but basically the steps would be very similar to what we just did. The only difference, of course, with the hyperbola is the position of the directrices and the foci. And so what happens is instead of x squared on a squared plus y squared on b squared, we end up with x squared on a squared minus y squared on b squared for the hyperbola. B squared will equal a squared, e squared minus 1. Remember, for the ellipse, it was 1 minus e squared. For the hyperbola, it's e squared minus 1. Now, again, if you remember the eccentricity, you can't get that one wrong. Because remember, the ellipse's eccentricity was less than 1, so it needs to be 1 minus e squared to come up with a positive number. And the hyperbola's eccentricity is greater than 1, so you need e squared minus 1 to come up with a positive number. Okay? A neater way, if you just want to find eccentricity, for the hyperbola, it's just a squared plus b squared on a squared. So again, very similar to the ellipse. But also that has to do with the eccentricity. This has to be a squared plus b squared because we need to get a number bigger than 1. Whereas the ellipse was a squared minus b squared, so we end up with a number smaller than 1. The foci stays the same. It's still AE0, and the directrices is still A divided by E. So that's nice. That doesn't change, other than the positioning. The directrices you'll now see are on the sort of the inside of the foci rather than on the outside of the foci. But the other difference with hyperbola, hyperbole, whatever the plural is, we have asymptotes. Really, our hyperbolas bend towards the asymptotes. The equation of the asymptote, that ratio that we just looked at before with the auxiliary circle, B on A, that's where it comes into play with the hyperbola. They become the equation of the asymptotes. Y equals B over A, or plus or minus, because you've got 2 there, B over AX. Now, that is when the foci is on the x-axis. What happens when the foci is on the y-axis? The negative and the positive swap round. So it's positive y squared, negative x squared. And so that's when the foci go on the other axis. So instead of x on a squared minus y squared on b squared, we have y squared on b squared minus x squared on a squared. But again, that means we'll have a squared equals b squared instead of b squared equals a squared. And the focus will be plus or minus BE. Directrices B divided by E. Amazingly, the asymptote doesn't change. It's still B on A X for the asymptotes. All right. So let's do one of those basic questions. Let's find the important pieces of information for this particular hyperbola. Now, I did this on purpose just to point it out. Notice B squared is bigger than A squared. Doesn't matter for the hyperbola. It's the sign that determines. So it's positive x squared, so we know we are in the position where it's on the x-axis. So A is 3 for this one. Eccentricity, quick way of working it out, a squared plus b squared on a squared turns out to be 5/3. So eccentricity is 5 on 3. AE turns out to be 5, so there's our foci. Our directrix is A divided by E. But now we also have asymptotes, B divided by A. So plus or minus 4/3 x will be our asymptotes. And that's all I've got to say about that. Right.